Hi guys, welcome back to our channel, and for today's video we are going to the house of one of our co-blogger, or my husband is an avid fan of this guy. So we're here.
Oh. ID?
So they're always asking the ID of the driver. It's gonna leave it.
This is not.
Okay, we're on the way, James. So we get lost, and Kuya guard saw us and show us where is James' house. So thanks for the guard.
Went on the back side. I don't know here. I only know that side.
We are here at James and Atenes's house.
Nice.
We are here at Feliz in La Paz City. See, if you say the name Hapon. Oh, look who see each other, the neighbor.
Surprise!
Surprise!
Saan kayo nagkakilala? Sa Facebook, nakita ko, mutual friends kayo.
Oh my God, the neighbor.
Nakakatuwa naman.
Yes. Hi, Ate. We saw each other finally.
Hi.
Kamusta? Hi, Jay.
Marcel. Hi, how are you?
Good.
Finally meet you in person. Nice to meet you. Andy, yeah, nice to meet you. You actually do talk. Yeah. Real fortunes over there. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, I'm with James and Auntie Nessie and Femi.
Right?
Ainsley's wife!
Who?
Ainsley's wife!
Oh, Ainsley! How did you meet up with these guys?
No, we have a group, and then she said that she's gonna retire in Lipa, so I checked her profile.
Yeah.
And I saw you. Mutual friends. So I asked her, hey, how did you know Nessie?
Oh, what a small world.
I know.
We watched this, right, Andy, from the
Yeah.
very beginning. From the very beginning.
Hey, Hapon.
Yeah.
Look.
Always watching. So everybody, most of the folks that come by here, they're like, we already know where everything is.
Yeah.
So we don't really have to do a lot of showing. Yeah. I got a shirt almost just like that.
We did a cruise.
El Paso. I think mine said El Paso that I picked up on at the airport. Come on in.
Come on. Welcome to Villa Feliz.
Welcome to Villa Feliz.
Yeah.
He's still got lots of puppy inside of him. Hey, you hush. Yes. If I let you in for a moment, will you be nice and quiet? Okay, come on in.
It's his birthday. Hers too. It's her birthday. It's her birthday too.
Hers is tomorrow.
Perfect. This is birthday cake.
Oh, we have a birthday cake from Atenessi.
Our property it's like in between SM and you're going downtown in that little roundabout right there. What is that called?
What?
Near the which roundabout? There's two roundabouts.
In SM Roundabout.
Yes, I'm roundabout.
Yeah, across the K Point. There's a Simple Joyce. If you know the Simple Joyce, you went there to buy this. We're behind it.
Oh, behind there. I know.
Yes.
That. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing back there.
Yes.
Now
Yeah.
you're in.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
And
Eat your cake. Eat your cake.
I love American ice cream. I eat the,
Have you?
the Blue Bunny ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Have you tried the local ice cream here? There's an ice cream shop called Dan and Eric's.
Okay.
They're Pure Gold have branch and in 7-Eleven in the downtown. You should try because they use natural fruits and stuff, and it's very creamy.
Okay. I'm all about ice cream. You can tell I'm all about ice cream.
Yeah,
So.
but you know, this is not advertising, but I just want you to try it.
Well, note that.
I don't know Dan and Eric's, but ever since we were young, I know that ice cream. Every time I go to the school, I always have to buy it. They sell it like in the little cups, like 17 or 20 pesos. They can go up to bigger tub.
He's a man. I was supposed to cook chicken curry.
Oh, for lunch.
Oh, your lunch.
I think they
Well-
opened. I think after that when we got here, I spoke with the developer and the board of directors, and I said, well, they actually approached me. They said, we understand you're not happy with the design that got approved here. And I said, yeah, we're not happy with that.
Right.
Because what we wanted to do, the original design showed that we could park underneath the house. We didn't want to park in the yard. We want to use the yard for farming because it's a farm lot. We don't want to turn the yard into a parking lot for cars.
Yeah.
So we showed them the design, and they said, yeah, we don't see why as long as you don't surpass the height restriction, we don't, basically, which meant all of our ceilings would have been lowered. We did a compromise, basically shrink the height of the rooms to be able to accommodate the under the first floor parking. And they said they thought, they didn't see anything wrong with it. Now this is the board of directors and the developer. Then we went back and we submitted that, and there were some challenges with the on-site engineer.
Do you have a magnetic screen that you can remove? Or it's rollable?
No, these are all the screens inside here are. You just touch them,
Oh.
and the screens will go. All the windows that open up like that, they all have these type of screen mechanisms inside here. The only one that's not like that, you see the one up on this way up there.
Oh.
You can't reach those, so you can't do that.
Yeah.
So what we have for the one, we always leave those screens closed all the time, but we have windows inside there that they're actually electronic. I'll show you those. I showed what I did was I put a switch back here, so I don't run the little power supply.
Yeah.
I don't run it all the time, so we don't want to burn it out because it's going to be years and years and years.
Right.
It hardly ever gets turned on. It's very, very slow.
Oh, I can tell.
You see the windows closing up there?
Yeah.
It's a motorized mechanism. It looks like a chain, and it goes and it closes the windows up there. And we only really do that when we have inclement weather, when we have a lot of wind or a lot of rain that the wind would.
I know, because the wind blows the.
See, so that's closing. So we'll stop and we'll open it back up again because we have a nice breeze. And what's nice about the design here, you see this is all open space right here. So convection from where you have cool air on the bottom and hot air rises. So if it gets warm inside here, what happens is air comes in here.
Yeah, bring it up.
It goes right all
Oh yeah, it's a good idea.
All right, well, we have our guests here today. Right now, I want to introduce our guests. And our guests are coming in from the U.S. who are now going to be staying here in the Philippines as well. We're going to talk all of it. Well, anyway, let me introduce you first. We're going to introduce you to Andy and to Maricel over here.
Hi.
Now, these guys actually have their own vlog. They just started the vlog recently. They have some property here in the Philippines, right? You have some property. You have a couple of properties inside.
Yes.
And they're also going to be building pretty soon. Now, they're looking at houses for designs, correct?
Yes.
Right.
And what they're doing is looking at the different houses for design. But let me just ask you guys a couple of questions. Tell me a little bit about your history. You were in the U.S. for how long?
Oh, I'm retired Navy. So.
Retired Navy?
Yeah.
I'm just a housewife right
You know what? There is no such thing as just a housewife. That is a major. That's a major job and an undertaking. That's like more important than our men jobs sometimes.
Just a cook.
What was your experience like being in the U.S. as opposed to being to the Philippines, and why did you decide to relocate to the Philippines?
When I came to America, I was thought everything is amazing. I thought life there is gonna be much easier, but later on, after I worked every day, I got burnt out, I get tired. I mean, everything there is available. What I love in there is, you know, the health facilities is awesome, and then I like how the infrastructure in the United States, they're very well made. It's very clean, no trash, no brownout.
Well, it depends on what part of the U.S. that you live in.
Yeah,
Also,
but
yeah.
Washington we don't
But
have.
mostly, yes. Well, let's get back
Yeah.
to the first thing that you mentioned.
Yes.
When you went to the U.S., you thought everything was great, and
Yeah.
then things started to get, let me say, stressful.
Yeah.
Is that the way you feel? Can you kind of paraphrase it?
Yeah, so of course when I just arrived there, my life is much easier. I don't have much pressure.
At the beginning.
Yeah, so it's like I'm just working, just part-time until it's like, well, our life in the United States is like, it's just like it tells you to work to sustain your everyday living, and then that's the time that we have to move back to Seattle from Eastern Washington, and then at the end of the day, we ended up no time to each other because he had to work too, and I had to work as well, work night shift. Work.
That's what always
So that's
focusing.
what happened. It burned us out. It's like I feel like we're slave of work. Like we've been working like every day, and I have to work sometimes more than 10 hours because I'm in sales, and in the sale sometimes you don't have time. You just go and leave whenever you want, and that's the difference instead of doing the hourly. Every little thing you have to pay, every penny, like you just give it away with our car insurance, health insurance, and
Many, and we find that as well. Your foreign earned income, your money, goes a lot longer, a lot further in the Philippines, with the exception of one thing that we've noticed, and it has to do with purchasing food.
yeah.
I know if you, and it depends on where you shop. If you shop in like the malls, like in SM or Robinson in the supermarkets, or S&R or something like that, then a lot of times it costs more. In the Philippines, it does cost more for the food. But an alternative that you have to that is if you go to like the wet market.
Yes.
The wet market, the prices are maybe half of what you pay inside. So you have to learn how to be frugal in the Philippines. But that is everything else that you hit on: insurance, hospitalization, entertainment is much less over here than it is. But anything that has to do with food, it seems like food, especially going out to restaurants, it's comparable. It's about the same.
About the same.
It's about the same. About the same.
Yeah.
You as an expat, you as a foreigner, when you go to like a grocery store or a department store or pretty much any place that somebody provides a service for you in the United States, when you go into these places, faces are kind of blank, and sometimes the faces that you meet, and I hate to say this, some people just there's no smiles, there's no happiness involved inside there. But my observation, no matter where you go in the Philippines, like us, we go to the plant nursery, we go to Pizza Hut, or we go to the grocery store, we go to a department store, we go to the hardware store, Wilcon or Ace Hardware, no matter, all you see is smiles.
Yeah, everyone.
Nice.
No matter
Everybody.
what issues they have personally, they're always happy, and you know this.
And that reduces stress.
I know.
That just that amount of a daily interaction, with the local folks around here, it reduces the amount of stress. You're in the Philippines now. Tell us about your plans.
Of course, we're planning to stay here in the Philippines for good, and currently we're looking for the right contractor. So we've been checking already like a few of them just to see their workmanship, and so that my husband can choose who is the right guy.
When are you planning on doing your bill? February. We started.
Because we were thinking November, because November is when it's cooler.
Over 100 of my episodes, oversight is probably one of the big things. If you can't do it yourself, have somebody that can do that. Even if you have to pay somebody to do that, and find somebody who is honest, has integrity. to be able to watch over your project.
after your
Make sure
fingers.
people don't do shortcuts, they don't buy inferior products, inferior building materials and things like that.
Yeah.
And if you have somebody, which is the one that's going to be building for our subscriber down here. Hey, all right, well anyway, here we are. We are eating our Pizza Hut. So I thought a great idea would be to kind of combine, like I said, two birds. I told you guys, two birds with one stone. While we're eating, we can also discuss some of the additional topics. And by the way, this is Fem. Fem has joined us here.
Hi.
Fem is
Not there.
Fem is she's the south of Ainsley. Ainsley and Fem, they are building. They bought a lot on this block. You know, you were looking for contractors, and
We're in search for contractors.
you're in search for a contractor right now.
Yeah.
I
Gotta find that right one. You know?
I will tell you though, building in the Philippines, building a house, the costs involved are much less than if you were to build inside the United States.
Oh yeah.
And it mainly has to do with saving money on labor. The labor costs are very reasonable inside the Philippines. Now, materials are comparable to the pricing that you have. If you bought plumbing hardware, even Portland cement mix, all the stuff that you use for building. A concrete hollow block is probably less expensive over here, but the stuff that you fill inside, the rebar, is pretty much comparable. Appliances, when you start doing appliances inside your house, they might be a little bit more expensive because most of the stuff is imported in. Anything that comes into the Philippines from outside, there always seems to be a premium, like a VAT, a value-added tax that's added onto it, or customs, that elevates the price of these things. But where you save is the labor.
Yeah.
So if you were to expect to build a house, we'll say, in the U.S., we'll just use a big round number, like $100,000. A $100,000 house in the U.S. may cost you $30,000 to build inside the Philippines. It's almost like a fraction of the cost.
You cannot save on materials, but the labor is a great deal in here.
Doing some of the smart features, because you guys are doing a smart home.
Yes, yes.
So he asked for a lot of advice and things on, and those are the things I like doing, the techie type stuff. Immigrating, moving to the Philippines, getting some type of resident visa. Now, you guys know we did the SRRV because Ness was balikbayan. That was her status. She was an naturalized U.S. citizen, which qualified her for balikbayan, which gave us the opportunity to use the SRRV. Now, the SRRV is not just for balikbayan status. Anybody can come back in. Any foreigner can come into the Philippines under the SRRV. Depends on what category they are, how much money it would cost to be able to become a resident in the Philippines. But you guys, you chose the 13A.
Right.
Can you talk about the 13A a little bit? Maybe some of the challenges. Also, why did you choose the 13A? What is your status, by the way?
I am dual citizen.
You're dual citizen.
And I have some fault about that. When we arrived here in the United States, I have U.S. passport. So I just want to tell you a story what happened in the airport that I forgot to do. So I just wanted to let everybody know that when you guys are dual citizen and you have a U.S. passport, make sure you bring your dual identification certificate and the oath of allegiance at the same time when you pass the immigration officer. So I got the same stamp of what my husband got. So I got 1 year balikbayan visa as well, instead of having no expiration because I am dual citizen already. So you guys make sure if you're dual citizen, show your dual citizen certificate.
Can't you have a Filipino passport and that's the one you're gonna show?
I forgot to show my Philippine passport because they said they are not valid anymore when you converted to a U.S. citizen.
Oh, really?
Yes, you have to apply.
For your entry.
That's what
Yes,
the Philippine consulate in Canada told us.
Or maybe you can try to show your old passport before you get naturalized. But they're saying that it's not valid anymore once you convert to U.S. citizen.
But if you are dual, then you are a Filipino citizen, then
You can apply another one.
yeah,
You
yeah,
cannot use your old one before
Oh,
you
you have an older one.
So I need to apply.
For new
Yeah.
Philippine passport.
Because
Okay.
the other one is like when I am fully Filipino.
Right, so we're gonna go ahead and do the house raid. I mean a house tour of James and Ate Nessie. So first we're gonna go.
So this is the basement, and I know you've probably seen it in hundreds of videos.
Yeah.
It's just evolving. It's just evolving. It's my workshop, which is not a workshop anymore. It's right now it's kind of a place to put crap that I'm working on. This is empty. That's the contents of my ballot line box.
Is that an AVR or a regulator?
This is a transformer.
It's a transform. Because he's thinking
This is 220 to 110 because some of my devices inside the house are 110.
220 to 110, and it's
It'll do
3,000.
both. It'll do 110 to 220 or 220 to 110. It'll do
Oh,
both.
wow.
You see the outputs here? It can be 110 or 220. So if you're in the U.S. and if you have a 220 device,
Yeah.
you plug in the 110 into your wall, and you can get 220 if you brought something. Not many people.
So let's say that is 110.
This is 110.
Where do you plug it in?
It's already plugged in.
You need this step down.
Yeah. So if I want to charge my battery right here, it will charge. This is 110. Getting 110 voltage from this right. Oh, the battery needs charging anyway. Huh.
And you just plug it in over there.
Yeah, just plug into the wall.
Oh,
I
okay.
sent some toys too that
Where did you get
This is
this?
noisy. I'm going to take this out so it doesn't make so much noise here.
So where did you get the
I
transformer?
bought this on Amazon.com.
Oh, in the US.
My recommendation on transformers is if you're in the US, buy one from the US because usually quality standards in the US are higher than quality standards buying, or especially in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of lower quality items that are on the market that you will buy, like through Lazada. Lazada is really good,
Yeah.
but some of the items that they send to you are lower quality,
Yeah.
and you would probably get quality control. There's pretty good results on Lazada, but it depends on what you order. You have to be very careful with electronics. Okay, so what some people will have their contractor build a transformer, even a larger transformer than this, depending on the estimated wattage that you plan on your package. And they'll build it into your electrical grid. They'll either build it near where your breaker box is, and they'll make a separate line that will only be, they'll put a sign on it that says 110.
Yeah.
That will only be 110.
I have a friend that redid their house. He did a Filipino American. He did a household goods move from San Diego over here, so the military paid for it. And half of his house has red outlets on it.
Yeah.
110.
Those are the 110.
The whole house is 110.
It doesn't really affect a lot, but one thing you need to think about is even if I have nothing plugged in, there's nothing plugged into this, and this is inside my grid. Okay, say this is plugged into my circuit breaker panel, and it's providing specific, like your red outlet you're talking about, your 110. With this turned on and nothing plugged into it, this is consuming electricity. That transformer inside there, it's not a lot, but it's using electricity with no demand on it. It has its own demand on the inside, doing the conversion from 220 to 110. So that's something you have to think about. So we're working on guitar, working on carpentry. We're going to go all along here,
Oh,
and
yeah.
along that wall over there, and then the tool chest is going to fit in between both corners of both.
But yeah, my brackets will work fine on it.
And I ordered this from a company in China, and this cable that came with this generator, this isn't long enough. What you're supposed to do is this goes to the ATS, the automatic transfer switch. It's over. I remoted it over Cat 6 cable out there. So this is the extent to that section. It's too tight. So I had to fabricate this cable for me right here. This will connect into the wall. What I will do is I will hardwire to the Cat 6 cable in the back. This will be on the back, and then you screw this on here. And then the other end of this will go here, but it's long enough to go around the back wall with slack, so I have slack. So that's another project that I have to do here. And sometimes when I do the oil change, I drop a little bit of oil, so I got a little rag right there. So.
How many times you do the change oil?
It depends on how many hours that you're on it.
Oh, it tells you how many hours.
It tells you in your manual. It will tell you the first one's very short. It's like after 10 hours or 20 hours, and every time after that, it's like every 100 hours or every so many hundred hours. It will tell you.
Yeah.
Or if it just sits there, it's recommended that you change your oil like once a year, once every so many months. They tell you that. Olive and the lighter colors up here. These are peach. And the multimedia room is for us to do live performances down here. Instead of doing video and karaoke, we are going to play the instruments, and we'll have people singing with us, and we'll sing. Ness and I, we plan on doing some band, getting back into the band stuff, and this is what we'll do in our practices. Right now, this is like a practice kit right here. We'll have a regular acoustic drum set back here. And this is our band. This is our band area. But also, this is a home theater
Projector.
and I showed this in the one of the previous videos. We got our. This is supposed to be a short throw projector. This is a long throw. I'll be swapping this out for a short throw to give us a bigger screen. Right now, this will give us about a 75-inch side-to-side screen. So this is the infamous 6-week to tile basement comfort room inside here. And this is the one where, since the walls are so thick here, we have 16-inch thick walls in the basement. So we dug in about 4 inches inside here, made a nook, so you have elbow room, so you don't have this. So when I designed it, I designed this, as well as the little nook up here for the separate hot water heater. We have an electric hot water heater. All the ones upstairs on the upper 2 floors are from the solar hot water heater. Inside here, it's from this one. It's independent of the rest of the house. Very small. I did a very small profile sink, so you're not bumping into it. Do we have a shower? This is a shower.
Oh, nice. It's a fully functional.
This is everything. Yeah, we have everything inside.
This is what we need on the lower.
And because we're gonna do like underneath our steps.
Like this one.
In this room inside here, this is going to be the office. This is going to end up being the home office down here. So it's like a day bed, and then we'll put a desk over here. We'll put some shelves inside here.
This is like 10 by 10, huh?
It's like
10 by 10.
It's about probably maybe 9 by
11.
Oh,
those way.
Oh, from here?
Yeah, from here.
Yeah, about 9 by probably about 11 or 12, something like that. This is
what
water control for everything in the house.
For the filter.
The water comes in from the subdivision here. I have the ability to bypass the booster pump, and the booster pump is in here to give us pressure to the 3rd floor.
How is that? I mean,
it works. Oh, for that you have to have it here. If we didn't have it here, we would probably have about 3 psi up on the 3rd floor. This works and it's a perfect size. It doesn't take up a lot of room, and it does exactly what we need. It boosts just to give us good water pressure for a shower, water filtration system.
We're gonna do
the carbon filter and the water softener. All right, something I want to share with you and the folks that look at your videos, if they're building a house in the Philippines or any place that is non-standard, say like they're coming from North America, which is 110, 120 volts. And a lot of questions are, will my device work in a foreign country, especially a foreign country that's 220 or 240 volts? Now, most of the time on the device will say what the voltage is. They'll either say one of 2 things. It'll either say 120 volt AC, or it'll say 120, 240, which means it's a multi-voltage. It's auto-sensing, we'll do both. Now, these days, a lot of things will be incorrect. When an item comes, most electronics are manufactured in China, and what they'll do, they'll cater to a specific region. So if they send something from China to the United States, on the box with the device, it's going to say 120 volt AC. It won't have a little squiggly sign for multi-voltage. It won't say 240. But what's happening, much of the items that are coming out of China these days, even though it says 120, it can still be a 120, 240 device. Case in point. And sometimes you have to experiment. You have to gamble. This device right here, this is a ring extender. This is a ring extender for our security system. When I take it out on here, power input 100 to 120 volts, 60 cycles. So you would think that this is only for North America or countries that are 100 to 120 volts. So sometimes you have to take a chance. So what I did was, since this was made for this house, instead of using a transformer on it, I said, I'm going to gamble the price of the cost of this device to test it out. So what I did is I plugged it into my 220 volt system, and I checked it online, and it's been running for months now. It's been running for about 6 months, and it's 220 rated. Inside, it's an auto sensing. It works for both. But if you go online, even if you go on Amazon and you say, will this work with 220 volts? People will say no, because all they're looking at is the numbers on here. All your switches, your light switches, right up here. I did US standards. I want to be ergonomically like this.
That's
I don't
4
want to
feet.
reach up. So it's up to you where you want them done. By code, they don't have to do that way up there like that. They do that, and the main reason in the Philippines is because the kids are always jumping up and hitting switches. If you're not really worried about that, about the kids always doing that, you got the perfect children. All the people that are going to come visit you have perfect children.
Yeah.
Then you can do it at the adult level, which is.
This is Ate Ness's kitchen, and this is pantry. Ito, pantry. Their pantry. Wag na. Their upper cabinet and microwave. And their oven, lower cabinets, and they have a quartz, beautiful quartz. Their island and their cooktop.
Thing. Anyway, today is Annie's birthday. But not only is today Annie's birthday, tomorrow is Marcel's birthday. We're going to promote these guys. These guys, they have a vlog. Remember I said at the very beginning? And it's called Retired and Happy in Philippines. Did I get it right? I got it right?
Yes.
So if you get a chance to stop by their site, and Maricel, you don't talk a lot on there. I see you don't really do a lot of that. Maricel is the James, I think, of the channel.
And I will do to promote James' channel. So if you guys haven't subscribed to his channel's name is My PI Dream.
My PI Dream.
My PI Dream.
My PI Dream.
Yes. And if you guys are interested to know about construction in the Philippines and all technologies, he's the expert here in Lipa, Batangas. Yeah.
I made the mistakes, so I tell you about my mistakes, so hopefully you can't make the mistakes also, or our mistakes that we made, so we will share that with you too. So please, if you get an opportunity, please stop by our channel, My PI Dream on YouTube.
Guys, thank you. Bye, Ate Nessie. Bye, James. Thank you for letting us into your humble home.
Well, thanks for coming and visiting us. We really enjoyed you. Stay here and
Yes.
stop by anytime. Oh, if you enjoyed today's video, please give us a thumbs up. Please share. And if you have not subscribed, just click on that little My PI Dream and My Retired and Happy in Philippines right down there.